What would you call yourself?
Uh, right now, when it comes to just the social stuff, it's just a creative. I don't go by social media influencer. I don't like that word,
Mhm.
um, because I try not to be influential to people. I want people to have a sound mind and do what they want to do. I'm a creative, so I just film all of my things that I'm musing and that I'm curious about, and I storytell. That's it. A lot of people are influencers when they're like, you gotta come to this food spot, you
Mhm.
gotta come to this bar. I really try not to do that. So that's why I don't think I'm a proper influencer. I just say I'm a creative, I'm a storyteller, and I just know how to like film it, document it, post it.
So how do you keep the separation then? Because like obviously, so like let's take a recent event, the whale mural in downtown Dallas was the I think Wyland was the artist or whatever. Backstory on this mural is a big mural that's been part of Dallas history for the last 30 years or something. And then recently with FIFA coming around, they basically painted over it, or at least most of it, and they're revamping it. A lot of people in Dallas are very upset about it. They're all talking about it. And, so I know that that was one thing I saw you, filming, so, like, stuff like that, and then just, I guess, in general, any types of events, like, how do you keep a more objective viewpoint, or how do you keep that
Yeah.
how do you tend to keep that separated?
Yeah. Robert Weiland, the artist, it was just about conservancy. Am I even saying that word right? Conservancy?
I think so.
Conservationist? Please forgive me if that's
Those
wrong.
are both correct words in my opinion.
Either way, he cares about sea life, ocean life, and that whale is a part of the Whaling Wall series. It was painted in Dallas in 1999. Iconic. Like it's been there since I was a kid. Many of us that grew up in Dallas and all over Texas know that mural. And yeah, people felt some type of way about it. And a lot of people were like really very, very outwardly expressive on how angry it made them that they
Right.
painted over it. And I was grieved by it. I was able in the first video that I did, I've done 2 videos on it. The first video I did, it was very in the middle, super balanced, not sharing my emotions on it. The second one, I did share my emotions on it because I needed time to process what I was feeling. I was like, "Oh, I'm culturally grieved. This is
Right.
something we all grew up with,
Right.
and it's really sad that out of all the wall space in downtown,
Right.
not only did you just not get a vinyl banner, which Dallas has a lot of vinyl banners on a lot of their corporate buildings, you painted over it. So Robert said that, and this is just
Sorry
alleged,
about this
the
fly,
little
man.
gnat, bro, he's trying to get at me. Um, he said that he did want to take legal action. So who knows if that's going to happen or not? But it's crazy. It's like a historical piece of art that I was taking. So yeah, I was culturally grieved. I finally put my words
Right.
to it. But yeah, to answer your question, definitely when it comes to it, I'm not a journalist, but I really respect the way journalists go about their things because they can hold tension and they can come at things nuanced. It's not,
Mhm.
hey, this is what I'm feeling, and you should feel this way too. I don't want to do that because I don't want to disrupt people's mindset on their politics, their religion, and their personal beliefs. What I will do is provide the storyline and walk you through it, and especially the things that I'm curious about.
Right.
So that's kind of what I try to do. But naturally, to kind of your point of what you're saying, videos are influential.
Mhm.
Anything I post can be influential because they can be like, oh, you posted your thing at that FIFA event. That means you're pro FIFA, you're pro killing the whales. People can do that, and
Sure.
they have every right to do that if
Sure.
they want to. But I try to just not, I just really respect people's boundaries, and I respect what they want to think about.
Right. I had a question for that. So it's interesting though because like you said, no matter what you do, you are an influence, right? Even if you're purely for objective just reporting, just trying to let people know what's going on. In the case of this particular mural, since we since talking about that, I thought it was kind of interesting because I'm seeing on all the posts about the mural on the what's the jail building,
Mhm.
everybody's like the old one was better.
Mm,
Like lots of comments are like, yeah, you shouldn't have painted over. The old one's better. Should just use a banner on talking about this mural on a completely different building, which just further reinforces in my mind, like, okay, there's a lot of virtue signaling that's been going on with the whale mural. Because I saw a
mm.
lot of outrage over the whale mural. And I think some people like yourself that I know grew up and around Dallas have a genuine connection maybe to that mural. Um, I admit, I've grown up around Dallas. I didn't personally remember the meal that much. I didn't have any sort of emotional connection either way with it. Um, but I did find it interesting that a lot of the social media comments I'm seeing on a mural that was on a totally different building indicated that a lot of these people were just chiming in to chime in and didn't actually
Yeah.
have any sort of connection with it, which then kind of leads me to think that a lot of news reporting I mean, so we already know with with the big media that they can create narratives, and like we've seen, probably you've probably seen clips before where like it'll have cuts of all these different news channels saying the exact same like opening line about some
Yeah.
news story, which says, okay, there's a script being followed here. um so how do you like what do you think about that when it comes to sharing news without it becoming sensationalized, without it becoming like shifting the narratives and shifting people's perceptions? Because I see what you're saying, but like how do you think that how do you specifically try to share news in an objective way? Obviously, people are going to do what they do with it at the end of
Mhm.
the day, but
Yeah.
what is your technique? Would you say to try to keep it objective?
Yeah, what I've seen is I agree with you. A lot of people just they're posting the same thing, especially in the news outlets and other journalists as well online. They're covering the same thing without nuance and tension. I'm just going to use those two words a lot because the nuance allows you to see things from all around and within the subject.
Hmm.
Holding tension means, man, I'm really excited that FIFA's coming. That's awesome. And I'm holding the tension up. It also sucks that they painted the freaking mural.
Right.
Like they didn't. Did anyone do research? Because now, just coming at it from a business and marketing angle, now you're getting heat because you didn't do 1 ounce of research to be like, you know what? People are going to hate that we're going to do this. Let's do it at the Y building, literally one street over.
Right.
Right. And maybe they did do their research. Literally don't know.
I
But
think they didn't. It didn't does not seem like they did.
who knows? At the end of the day, they painted over it and people are pissed. Right.
Hmm.
So I see that is where I come from because I love humanity too much. I'm curious. I'm way too curious first before I can even be emotionally dysregulated and get outraged.
Hmm.
It takes a lot to make me mad. And I do have those feelings in me, but it takes a lot. And when it comes to news and journalists reporting the same thing without nuance or tension, it can just get boring. It's like
Right.
you're telling the story I just saw on Fox or I just saw on NBC5, you know what I mean?
Right.
And without any creativity or originality. And a lot of those people are just doing their job. Their boss is telling them, hey, go and do that thing. I've talked to a lot of journalists that I know now where I'll go to an event and they're like, yeah, my boss just sent me here.
Hmm.
Right. I am not a real journalist. I'm Hector, but I'm curious about things and I know how to story tell.
Right.
I
Right.
know how to put a video together, put the right good song on it, the whole nine. And that is why I feel like people have been gravitating to me because a lot of people sometimes people will comment, I don't even watch the news. I watch this guy,
Right.
right?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen those on your page.
And I will fail you if you do that because I don't. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I'm covering two shootings back to back. One that happened in Deep Ellum, one that happened in Carrollton, and then this week I'm covering a lot of FIFA stuff. Next week I might be covering something else. So that's why I'm like I'm not a journalist, I'm not a news person, but I do love storytelling. And yeah, I think people can miss out on a lot of good and depth when they are not curious and when they're not willing to hold tension. When they go first with the feelings, I think it just puts you in a spot where you can kind of blind yourself before you
Hmm.
can see the whole picture.
Right.
I love to see the whole picture.
So
Not
one
the Wyland picture because it's all blue now.
it's gone now,
It's gone.
right?
It's not there no more.
One of the things I was actually going to ask you was like, what do you think is your niche? Like, what do you think it is that makes your draw? But I think you kind of answered just now. So I guess would you say that your inspiration for getting into it, I mean, first of all, so you told me off camera a bit ago that you kind of got into this because you were documenting abandoned malls and just kind of exploring those, and that was interesting to you
Yeah.
to see these abandoned places. And I also had a deep interest in exploring abandoned places when I was younger too. Still do. I just don't do it as much. But so then I guess how did that? First of all, how did it go from the malls to this?
Yeah. I have three people I'm really inspired by. Anthony Bourdain, who's one of them. Dude was a chef. Then he wrote a book and his life went up and at him from his 40s. And that story alone was really inspiring to me because I'm only 28. Life technically really has just started. I'm kind of in the first
Mhm.
we're in the first quarter of our life. Life is really long unless we die suddenly. But life is long. We got
Yeah,
like
yeah.
three giant chapters ahead of us. And he started at 40. So did Samuel L. Jackson. And that was really inspiring to me because I felt stuck for a while in my 20s when I was working at a church, when I was working for clients within my own media company. And that's amazing because the media company was really freeing for me
Mhm,
because I'm like, oh, I'm making my money my way and I'm able to have clients through my video production company. And then I realized, dang, I still have a boss though.
mhm.
I'm still subject to someone's schedule. And that was really frustrating for me because I am a little selfish in that regard. I love to own my schedule. And
There's a little part of you that doesn't like being told what to do.
dude, who doesn't, man? Who doesn't want the freedom?
Absolutely.
And and I still have two bosses. I'm like humbled by it because it helps me pay my bills while I'm establishing this new life that I want to do. So I am humbled by it and I don't want to do that forever.
Mhm.
I can be real clear on that. And in regards to that, uh, Anthony Bourdain was a huge inspo. Shepard Fairey, guy who owns Obey. You saw him like if you grew up in like going to Zoomies when you were younger.
Right,
The
right, right,
Obey
right.
shirts. Dude's actually just a hardcore street artist that's been around since forever. And I met him once in Dallas in Design District, and the biggest thing that I respected is that is exactly who I expect him to be, and he's the same person on and off the camera. And there's an aspect of like integrity that I really love about a human where you're great on social media, which I have met some people of influence that are not fun in person.
Mm,
They're not really nice. They're mean to bartenders.
right,
Like they're not human. They don't
right,
humanize
right,
people. And I think that's why like Anthony Bourdain, Shepard Fairey's been my biggest inspo. They're very human like, and I want to be the same Hector whether I'm filming something or not.
right.
And I think that's my biggest inspo. So doing the dead malls and they're not even dead. They're open. You can actually go to a lot of these malls. They're just people consider them dead because they don't have an audience anymore. It's it's I fell in love with it because of the nostalgia, the whole
Mhm.
nostalgia aspect. So just being able to film that stuff, I own homage to because it really jump started all the social media videos I do now.
Right.
So yeah, I've always been inspired by that kind of stuff.
So you definitely too, I mean, kind of what you're saying a little bit ago too about big media versus what you're doing is that like a big part of your interest is that um you noticed that there was news outlets that were all reporting the same exact thing, that there's a certain narrative being followed, and you were like, I kind of want to know what's really going on. So that was kind of what inspired you to get on because you have an actual passion to understand, like the actual like
Yeah, dude.
to
And
understand truth.
yeah, and I get to go in person. It's kind of like in the comment section, it's really easy to fight in a comment section
Hmm.
and people to stir drama. And there's most of my comment sections are pretty healthy, I would say. They're really positive, and then there will always be some strife in there. It's a given.
Do you think that depends on what you're post what news
Yeah.
thing you're talking about though, right?
Yeah, and no matter how you paint it, there will be someone who doesn't like it, and they
Right.
have every right to comment that. But in person, I've met people who have made a negative comment on my video, and it's funny. I don't know if they feel compelled to, but they'll tell me, "Yeah, man, the reason I made that comment is X, Y, Z." And it's just different when you're face to face because
Absolutely.
in a comment section in the internet, it's really hard to humanize
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you posted something and I was feeling negative that day and I'm like, "Josh, it's really nasty that you posted that photo and I cannot believe your character and this is embarrassing."
Right.
And then in person I'm like, "Oh, you're like a really nice person. You're extremely
Right.
hospitable and I get to learn more about you." So when it comes to the videos that I do, I go to the wall, like the where the blue wall is with the
Mhm.
Wailing Wall series. I go and see it. I introduce myself to the artists that are
Right.
working
Right.
on the artists that literally that day painted it blue.
Mhm.
And even though I don't agree with that, that sucks. I was still able to humanize
That was
them.
about to say that was probably because everybody else is just seeing on the internet what happened, and they're creating their own narratives and anger towards the artist they don't even
Of
know, and they're
course,
probably and the versus then you meet them, you're like, oh, dude,
you're a normal guy that's trying
you're
to
just
get
like
it.
me trying to find your hustle, trying to find your way through it.
Yeah, I just I cannot look at things just one sided. I have
Yeah.
to. I love getting the whole picture.
Right. I don't know. It's funny you say that too because I was actually I mean, this is kind of off topic, but that was one of the things that frustrated me about the church. One of my last, like one of my strongest memories from
Western American church.
Western American church, right? One of my strongest memories actually from Gateway was talking with one of our leaders, and I mentioned I was reading the Quran from the library just because I was curious and had this like 10-minute discussion with them going back and forth with me saying that I shouldn't do that, saying that that was I just needed truth, and
They
that
were having
was
a panic attack.
I don't know what they were going to do, and it turned me off. That I was like, no, I don't like that. I need to know both sides. I don't think
Yeah,
anything's that
it's really similar, actually. If
yeah.
you look at it, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
well,
well, exactly.
it's
Yeah,
really
they're
similar.
following a very similar thread. They're
Yeah.
just trying to tell the story. They're trying to tell us esoteric wisdoms in other ways. But anyway, that could be a whole other.
Well, I'll talk about this. I'm interested in that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So, when I was 15, I we had I went to this high school called Sunset in Oak Cliff, and during my computer class, which I feel really bad, but I skipped that class a lot. It was the last period of the day. I don't even know how I graduated. Thank God for summer school. It's literally the only reason the DISD let me graduate. But there were some days that I didn't skip, and then we had the computer class. So a lot of times you knock out your work, boom, now you have access to the internet, have fun, right?
Hmm.
And I was always curious, man. And I grew up religious and I grew up in a Christian home. And I was always interested in other stuff and I never felt bad about it.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? Let me look up the Satanic Bible. This is interesting. Because when you're a teenager, I was hanging out with the thugs and the emo kids.
Right.
And then
Right.
and
Right.
then there was the thugs, the emo kids, and then there
And
was
you were
like,
hanging at church.
yeah. And then there is the guys who love Slayer and thrash metal and sacrifice cats,
Right.
right? The real metalhead kids that are
Right.
really
Right.
into Satanism. Now, thank God I've never sacrificed a cat. Poor cat. Bring the cat back. This is so depressing. I still think about it.
You actually know a guy that sacrificed a
No, I
cat?
don't.
Okay.
I know a kid who claims he would do it, but I'm like,
Yeah.
did you really? I mean, I'll take your word for it because that's pretty messed up if you're trying to flex on that. But these guys were really into Satanism and the whole nine, right? So I'm like, you know what? Let me type in, let me look it up. So I started learning about Anton LaVey. He's a real huge part of like the satanic movement, and I didn't feel scared or turned off by it. I was just interested. I'm like, okay, here's our 10 commandments in Western American Christianity.
Hmm.
And then here is satanic Bible that they have. And then I would look into the Quran. I would look into tons of different religion. There's actually a couple of videos I've done last year. Bro, I went and filmed at a Hindu temple in Frisco. I filmed at an abandoned temple that's in I think it's still in Oak Cliff. It's a Vietnamese temple, and they have, I don't even know how to pronounce it, so please forgive me. Chiao Dai Ting or something like that.
Sound pretty
Who
good.
knows? But their religion is extremely controversial if someone knew about it because they believe in tons of different gods. Not tons of different gods. I think I don't want to get it wrong. I don't know their religion. All I know is I've been to Hindu. I've been there. Been to uh, a Thai temple, the whole nine, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of people that I grew up with would think that's really controversial that you're doing that. It's really
Right.
crazy that you're putting yourself in this position. You're going to bring a spirit back home. And I actually do believe, I do believe in Yeshua. I believe in Jesus. I believe in God.
Sure.
And uh, I'm practical. I'm like, bro, if I really believe in this God and if he's really real, I'm straight.
Right.
I
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
anywhere and spiritually, ain't nothing gonna come on me. If I believe in him, he's stronger than all of that.
No, absolutely, dude. And I firmly believe that because I think I'm a strong believer in like I have the power, and anytime that I'm afraid of something, I'm just giving it power unnecessarily, and that can be anything
Absolutely.
from a spirit to a movie to a substance to whatever. Like I personally do not like extremism. Like I'm not because I think extremism is so. Let's just take the religious aspect. Going to church. Oftentimes, if you think about Satanism, a lot of people just they've never bothered to try to look into it. They've never tried to like you know, move, they've never even tried to look into the surface of it, much less the depths of it. And so
Yeah.
they see what Hollywood, I think, portrays it as sacrificing cats or, standing around a pentagram doing chants and then burning crosses or something.
Yeah. There's this guy, Andrew Binksy, I think is his name. He's a YouTuber. He did a really cool video, in documenting, the Satanic Church. So,
Mhm.
um, I've just never been opposed to learning other people because a lot of us, you can go around the world and a lot of us are we have relationship problems,
Right.
we struggle with anxiety, we struggle with some sort of mental health, and we're all very similar, even though you can go to any tax bracket, someone who's poor, someone who's rich, and at some scale, we're very similar because we're human. We
Right.
have a lot of the we have a lot of similar problems internally and mentally.
Absolutely.
Um, so that's why I've never been turned off to learning.
Yeah.
And that's why going to a few of those different temples, reading into stuff, it doesn't scare me and it doesn't bother me to look in it. Cause now I have this one friend, he owns Coffee Barbecue, Kafi, and he's from Afghanistan, and he owns a barbecue joint, it's fantastic, it's like
Coffee and barbecue though.
no, not actual,
Oh,
like,
okay, okay,
coffee.
okay, okay.
It's just the name,
Gotcha.
but he's from, I'm sorry, not Afghanistan, wait, Iraq. Yeah, Iraq, he's from Iraq, but I get to learn about his world, he's a devout Muslim,
Mhm.
and I just get to learn about his world, and that's my friend, that's my
Right,
brother,
right,
and I'm just not opposed to that. I can't be so linear in the way that I look at humans,
right.
even though we have different beliefs. It's not in me, and I think it's really easy for people to do that because if you're genuinely curious and you want to learn about someone and you have love for them, it takes a lot of work because you have to be willing to be vulnerable, open yourself as they
Mhm.
open themselves up to you, and emotionally, that's a lot of work,
It is.
right?
Yeah.
It's easier to be like, I don't like what you believe in. That's crazy. You're going to hell.
Right,
That's actually really easy to do. The harder thing to do is tell me about your life. Where'd you grow up? And I want to get to know you.
right,
That takes effort.
right.
And yeah, I'm okay with effort. I've had some of the best experiences in my life being willing to put myself out there and learn about people.
Yeah, for me, I feel like though my methods are I feel like there's got to be a better way, but the only method I've ever found is like I you can't tell me the fire's hot. I've got to put my hand in the fire and feel it myself.
Yeah.
So like especially I remember growing up, in the church that I grew up in, and we'd have like a part of the service every Sunday where we would pray for people, or very certain people would go up to the front of the church to pray for people, and whoever would go up to get prayer, and I would oftentimes stand up there to pray for people. And I remember it's kind of like something about the mentality when I was praying for. I remember praying for kids that had depression or they had cut themselves or had done these things. I remember at the time thinking like, "Oh, that's so sad." Like, this sort of almost like pity, not in a negative sense, but like empathy for it. It's like that's so sad that you don't like yourself in that way. And then it was like 10 years down the road that I was like, dude, I was them the whole time. I just
Mm.
had myself somehow there was a separation in my mind where it was like I was holy. I was a Christian. I was saved. So I was meant to like pray and help for these people. When
It,
really at the end of the day, we were having the same struggles.
of
I
course.
think it's kind of what you're saying too. And I mean that's really the whole premise of why I wanted to start this, because I realized that like I feel like we in our minds we tend to think that like my problems are somehow unique. It's this like egotistical, like my problems, no, yeah, somebody's had similar problems, but my exact circumstances are different, and they are. I think each of our perspectives and like experiences have been very unique, but at the end of the day, the thoughts and the feelings that we have inside of ourselves
Yeah.
are very similar. Like they're really not all that unique. I think
Well, think about the role you were in, and I was in a very similar role. I worked at a church for a long time. Worked at Gateway Church
so.
for
We were in the youth interns
yeah,
together, right? I think that's when we
we were
probably
students, and then
yeah.
we became friends. We were both a part of an internship, and then I worked at that church for a while. And right from 18, from when I was 18 to I quit in 21st day of 2021, I was gone. So
Hmm.
whatever that is, but it is crazy to think about. We and this isn't any organization, whether it's corporate business, politics, religion. It really is crazy, especially in religion, where you're going through something, but you often do find yourself being put in a position of leadership. Even if you have an ounce of leadership,
Hmm.
they're gonna be like, "All right, cool, man. Go pray for that kid, and
Right.
then go oversee that group, and then do this, this, and that." And there is some power. There is some good power to it because I believe in leadership and building up people, but Now that I'm a little bit older and have been able to experience a lot of life within this short time frame, I care more now about if I was a leader back then, if I was your leader, I'd be like, I care more about Josh, so I'm gonna make I want to work with him and let's talk about what's going on here and just walk with him in life and not rush him into
Mhm.
a leadership position caring for others, which he has the ability to do that. But a lot of times, especially in like these religious organizations, there is a real laziness
Mhm.
in proper
Right.
discipleship. And discipleship is not even just a religious thing, it's just a style of leading
Right.
somebody. And it's lazy. It's like, it's very formulaic. You believe in God? Cool. You know how to pray for like like half 30 seconds? Cool. You're on the prayer team. You're
Right.
leading this small group, and I need you to go. Then you're leading worship over here. And I'm way more interested in how is Josh doing?
Mhm.
What's going on in his head? Does he want to kill? Like, I would back then, if I was your leader and I was not thinking about you and all I
Mhm.
cared about was just this church agenda, I would have never known that you were struggling with wanting to kill yourself. You hate your life. Have an addiction on the side. Whoop de woo, whatever it is.
Right.
And that's why now, as an adult, and I've been way more open about stuff that I've struggled with. Some of the leaders are like, I had no idea. And I'm
Mhm.
like, you didn't ask.
Yeah.
And there's two, it takes two to tango. I could have opened up, but I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe.
Yeah,
Most
one
people
one
don't feel
thousand percent.
most people don't feel safe because it's gonna be like, all right, what do we need to pray out of you?
I
What?
do try to have a little bit of like understanding on that because I think back to how old were my leaders, and like they're probably about my age now or something like that, you
Or
know what I mean,
younger.
or younger. So I'm like, because I've had my frustration and been a little pissed off, like because that was the biggest thing, and it happened to me multiple times with the church I grew up in. I got really close with these two youth leaders, and they were from CFNI. They were like students at CFNI when they started. So again, they were young when they were doing this, but they were students at CFNI, being the youth leaders at my church, kind of like because we were looking for a new youth pastor, and come to the end of their 6 12 month term or whatever, it was like all of us kids were like hoping they were going to be the new youth pastors, and I myself had gotten really close with them. They got a job offer in New York and dipped, didn't even say bye. And like
Mm.
that like crushed me as like when I was young. I was like so upset
You
about it
felt
because
betrayed.
I felt very betrayed because I was like I thought because this church had felt so dead to me already because I already was kind of felt a little bit ahead of the curve in terms of being open minded and having all these other ideas about spirituality, and felt like this church was already restrictive, and so I felt like they were going to finally kind of bring some life into this church and help give me some direction, and then they left, and so that was really frustrating. Soon after that, my family had my mom had her own falling out kind of with the church leadership, and so we left collectively. And then that's when I started going to Gateway Church, which is where I
Mm.
met you at. And same thing there, like it was a mega church, you know what I mean? So like I understand there's a lot of people there. There's a lot of a lot of structure that goes involved with hierarchies in order to keep that organized and keep the message consistent and whatever, despite the fact that again we are all human and I don't think it should be that polished, but I understand church is also a business at the end of the day, like it is an untaxed business nonetheless, but so I have tried to have some empathy for a lot of the leadership, but I had a lot of the same exact feelings because then when because I went to Slovakia as an exchange student when I was 18, and I remember I don't think I like I had invited our youth leaders and pastor to come to my going away thing. Neither of them showed up.
Mm.
Didn't ever hear a word. Never heard a word from them. And like that to me was also like as a kid, I was like mad about it, and I was like, they don't care about me. What? Like I thought, like I put in all this time working the youth camp, going to this internship, doing the extra
Of
this, extra
course.
that, and I was like, I thought, I understand they can't keep up with everybody, but I thought I was somewhat in this inner circle where they would care about me a little bit more,
Mm.
and so that was like very frustrating to me. But then again, I come with the other side, the devil or angel, whichever one it is, saying, yeah, but they were also young, probably going through their own shit. But yeah, I think that I fully heartedly agree. I do think a lot of the leadership is because what I feel like a lot of it ends up being is kind of what we were saying, where people again are not wanting to look deeper. They want to. You're happy, great. I don't want to hear any more.
Yeah, leave it.
Continue
Please,
on.
please don't
Let's
expand.
let's just keep it at you're happy, and we're gonna run with that. And
Yeah.
and we don't want to get into the depths of it because, and I don't know. I think there's like why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think I agree with you, and I do have empathy for people that have hurt me and people that have, um, ended our friendships, and a lot of it just does point back to, "Oh, you don't care for context, you don't want context about my life," and it's easier to just say, "Yeah, I don't agree with how you're living your life, whatever, so I'm just gonna put the boundary here," right?
Mhm.
And a lot of times when people end relationships, they're really bad at ending relationships because they don't even know how to do a proper goodbye. I'm actually cool with goodbyes and ending relationships, but I'm just such a communicator and being clear. Most relationships and friendships just end like unfollowed on Instagram and zero talking,
Right.
which I just don't work that way. And it's happened that way where some people have done that with me.
Like, you've actually
And
had a falling out with a friend and it was like a breakup?
I've had, oh yeah, man, there's a couple of people I miss and the relationships are over. Friendships are over, right?
Mhm.
And that's okay. And I've had to be okay with that and grieve that. Even though
And it was
there's
due to, like, are you saying it was due to, like, life, choice differences? Like,
oh,
they didn't agree with certain things or
yes, absolutely. Life choices on how I live my life, and and people that just stop talking to me
Mm.
just for whatever reason. I don't know. That's where
Yeah.
I can't even speak for them. But I think to answer your question about like how do I feel about people that can just easily not continue to invest into a relationship by not showing up to the event that they're invited to after you've sowed and invested so much
Mhm.
into them, man, it is, now that we're a little bit older and we can see a bigger picture of it, it's actually really sad for them. It's like, dang, you're missing out on a really deep and connective, beautiful relationship. You, after I and I used to come at it from a self-sabotaged victim mentality of woe is me. How could you do this to me? XYZ. And now I'm able to be like, that kind of sucks for you because I'm a pretty good friend. I've been a really good friend to you, and it's unfortunate that you don't want to invest. And that sucks because I really liked our friendship. And now what I've had to do for me, especially being a people pleaser, ex people pleaser, try
Yeah.
not to be anymore, being a
Recovering.
yes, a recovering people pleaser and a loyalist. Man, the amount of years I have self-sabotaged my life by overly toxically investing into people to please them
Mhm.
to get nothing back. I've learned something. I said, "Oh, I have all the power." Back then, I used to think this person owns me. I want to be accepted by this person, whether it's my boss. And I always struggled. It was normally close to close friends. I've always been able to really manage and be healthier. I was always really toxic with people in leadership above me because I want to
Mhm.
please them and I want to be
Right,
accepted.
right.
And what I've had to learn, and this was a really hard pill to swallow for me, I actually had to take all of the blame off of them and be like, "Oh, you didn't do anything to me.
Mhm.
I gave you too much power, and I actually put unfair expectations on you, thinking without communicating that if I sow all of this into you, you're going to take care of me." Never happens, right? So now it was a hard pill to swallow because I wanted to be and sure, I was victimized to some certain relationships, but other than that, I wanted to be like, you see what you did to me? And now the hardest pill to swallow was, shit, I see what I did to myself.
Yeah.
And then that part is really grieving. And it feels like, oh my God, I betrayed myself for years
Mm.
for this guy?
Yeah.
This person who literally doesn't care. They're doing their own thing. And that's been a really strong healing journey that I've been on for the last couple of years, and it's been really freeing. It's really hard at first when you realize that because it's really like, damn, I betrayed myself. It's so sad, and you're angry at yourself. And now that I've been able to take time to properly grieve, and I use the word grieve because it is the death of a relationship. It's the death of
Mm.
a certain way I used to live and a belief system I had. And now that I've gone through those grieving process and allowed myself to feel all of those feelings, right? Now I'm able to look back and have a lot of empathy for myself. Bro, you didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
You were in your young 20s. You didn't know better. Your nervous system was just trying to feel safe. And all you knew was attach yourself to this person, serve them well, and you'll feel safe. And now I know, thank God I don't have to do that anymore. So yeah, I can hold attention and look at it like I have empathy for you, and
Mm.
I'm not gonna put myself in a
Mhm.
position like that ever again.
Because I think a lot of the times too, it's seeking purpose, and I think it becomes really easy when you place. I mean, this happens in church. I think a lot is it's church gives people a lot of purpose, and
Jobs, everything.
right, or jobs, yeah, anything, and so it's easier. I think to like definitely like throw yourself head first into that. Um, I mean, just so to take the point you were just making, I've kind of synthesized it down, if that's the right word, even simpler toward just like from an evolutionary standpoint, we want to first we basically are like all we really want to do at our primal instincts is um eat, sleep, and fuck. You
I
know
was
what I
about to
mean?
say that.
So it's
Like, we
like
just want to eat, sleep, and have sex. That's
that's,
literally
that's all we want to
what the
do.
human body well needs and
Right.
wants.
Right. And it's in this civilized world that we have created these concepts of you don't care about me. It's like it's not that they don't care about you. They just care about themselves and they're going to take care of themselves. Like and so, cuz like you're right, too often we kind of get butthurt and we say like, take it back to the church example. If even close to the amount of energy and emotional investment I gave to the church was given back to me, I would be there 100% filled today. I wanted to be a
We'd be
missionary.
working there.
I wanted to be a pastor. Like I was all in
I know,
for
dude.
free,
I know,
for
bro.
free.
Oh man, them years you've
And and
invested.
and and no- and like I was ready to give my entire life to this. And it wasn't again. It was I am so grateful for that my exchange year because because when I was 18, I went to Slovakia, but prior to that, I'd gone to church every Sunday, pretty much every Wednesday, and in the 2 years or so, when 3 4 years I was going to Gateway, even it was like every Wednesday, Sunday, and then there was like another day or two a week. Usually, I was
Of
it
course.
was like 3 or 4 days a week doing church stuff, doing it was very very heavily invested in it, and so then all of a sudden, kind of getting ripped out of that, and I feel like a bird, and I zoomed out and looked back on it, and I think I saw that I saw how much I invested, and then in those 12 months I was in Europe, I saw how zero messages I received, like how
Mm,
little anybody, like none of these leaders, some friends still followed me, but none of the leadership, none of the people that I like looked up to and looked to for guidance and help, none of them reached out, and I realized, oh, okay, like at the end of the day, this is just me. There wasn't. I think the purpose that I thought I was chasing that entire time wasn't really there because I think I was trying to find purpose in somebody else when really, like you said, because I was trying to invest so much time and energy into somebody else, thinking they were going to give me that purpose. And then I decided I had to find that purpose and figure out what I wanted to do. And that's when I kind of really got into photography. And I started realizing I really enjoyed capturing people, and especially candid photography more than anything. Like I never really liked doing the big studio shoots. So I kind of like the idea you said at the very beginning of where you said I should put a 360 camera on my neck and go out there in the streets. Maybe I'll experiment with that
yeah,
idea
man.
because I have been trying to figure out how I'm going to get back into it. To be honest, I'm still trying to figure out what my overall purpose is. And I don't this podcast idea is fun and I feel like this is the direction I'm supposed to go right now, but I also don't know where it's supposed to end
Yeah.
because I don't know that I want to be. I don't know. Yes, I feel like I'm going to be well known, but I don't want this to be about me, and I don't necessarily want it to be my name per
Mm,
se. Um, Really, I just want to collect these stories and be able to like
yeah.
highlight them for other people to see to hopefully kind of gain insight and wisdom from. But
May I offer some affirmation and validation?
absolutely.
Okay. One thing I've always known and seen that you do is you are incredibly artistic and creative and original. Like the photos you've taken, and even when I first met you, I was always inspired by your originality. Like you're Josh,
Hmm.
and it's beautiful, man. I would embrace it. Like um, you're very introspective, and I'm very introspective, and it is very annoying because you care about a question like I don't know what my purpose is. What is it? Some people are like, brother, I'm glad I clocked in to my Taco Bell shift. I got my little bonus. I got vacation. I only have 3 days off this year. And then they can sleep happily, right?
Right.
We're annoying. Like our brains are annoying because we're creative. And not saying that they're not creative, people who have just a regular job. I'm
Mm,
sure they're creative, but I'm saying from an artistic standpoint and people who ruminate and are very introspective, we are constantly in a mental war with ourselves about what's my next move, what is my purpose, and I still have that today. But I think I just want to validate you are very artistic, you're very creative, you're very original, and maybe I want to affirm the free spirit that you have in you. Dude, tap into it. You had it. Like you have it. It's never left you.
mm,
You left Slovakia as soon as you were able to, right? To Slovakia, I mean, as soon as you were able to. Most people will never travel outside of their city. I know people who live in Los Angeles. They live in Los Angeles, bro. They never been to the beach and they never been to the mountains. Both are an hour away from their house.
right,
They
right.
just live in La Puente. They just live in Compton or Inglewood. Everything's right
And
there.
that's where they're born and
Hollywood.
raised too?
Say again?
Born and raised there?
Yes.
Yeah.
And um sure they drive by it, but they don't go and experience it. You have a good gift where you are very curious. So I would just maybe it's a reminder and affirmation. You have a very creative spirit and a very adventurous one, and you have the keys to always unlock that. So I think you're not stuck to this podcast. I That's how I look at it with my content and stuff
Mhm.
I do. Even though I found something that gets views and people like are interested with,
Right,
I am not glued to it. As soon as I'm done with it, bro, peace out to those videos. I'll do this now.
right.
And you just we are free, man. We are not stuck and subject to one thing.
Dude, I appreciate that, and I mean, I'm
Yes.
gonna throw it right back at you though, because like, so I don't know, you hit me up on Instagram, like, it was like maybe a month, 2 months ago, like, out of the blue, like, "Dude, glad I
I
found you again."
found
I
your
was like
account,
I was like,
dude.
"Oh, shit," like, dude, long, I haven't even, hadn't talked to you, hadn't, seen you in, like, over a decade at this point, I think.
Yeah.
Um and seeing your stuff has been inspiring me because it's like because I see that myself in what you're doing too because it's like that's the shit that I like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
dude.
Like getting out there, just being boots on the ground, being up in there catching the raw moments, the raw
Mhm.
authenticity of what it means to be human and trying to um I mean, literally, like this tattoo on my forearm. I asked this artist to design it for me. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I basically had to ask this artist to
No.
design it for me, and I gave him this like
Oh,
paragraph.
wow, that's
I
sick,
gave him this
dude.
like paragraph. I said, "Hey, I want a tattoo that represents me and the ambition and like like my desire to create art for the world in a way that is true to myself and representative of what matters to me, but also is something that the people still like. And then I
Mhm.
want something and all the stress and anxiety that comes along with it. And like it was that vague of a description. It was the design I got, and I was like, that's me.
That's
And so
amazing.
every time people ask me what it is, I'm like, it's me. It's like my spirit form or something, because that's
You even
exactly how
got
I
your
feel
third
too.
eye, dude.
Yeah, I mean, the artist really, I don't know. It was a very synced moment.
That's
He knew
cool.
exactly what I needed.
That's cool.
Um, and so and that's my favorite photo I've ever taken too is this girl that's in an abandoned school. She has like half a globe over her head, and she's like kind of
I've
bent
seen
down.
that one.
Yeah, and I call it the weight of ambition because I feel like that's something that us creators we often go through is we feel the weight of the world on our shoulders in a way because we want to create something for everyone, but at the same time staying true to ourselves, and that creates this paradox that feels like crushing weight often, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
often kind of wears us down. Furthermore, that shot was in an abandoned school, which I don't feel like my schooling or which I was homeschooled, so this is not at all a knock to my mom. My mom did great. More my stint in public school briefly and just in general, like in general, a lot of the things that we grow up learning, I don't feel like a lot of that serves me today.
Mhm.
Much that, if anything, kind of the way we're taught by. Again, like I said, this is not about my homeschooling experience, but it's just about the things that we learned growing up. We're taught like, go to school, get a career, get a degree, get a career. There's
Right.
this pattern that no longer exists for anybody in our age group. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of anyway. the weight of ambition. That's really how I perceive myself as an artist, and a lot of the things like the struggles that we go through. But I really do appreciate those affirmations. Yeah,
Yeah,
me seeing a
dude.
lot of your work and content has been very inspirational to me. Kind of like returning back to it, and kind of like I was telling you that event I shot recently. I loved it because I did it for free. I wasn't paid a dollar to be there. And I did what I wanted to do. I just showed up with my camera and just documented. I just took pictures of what was going on. The event itself ended up being a shit show due to it being, stormed out, and then things just kind of fell apart.
Mm,
I left feeling like I had a great night. Like I felt bad for my friends that are putting on this event. I know they were probably feeling pretty
yeah.
crushed about it, but I was like, for me, this was an absolute win. I did exactly what I wanted to do. I showed up, shot my shots, kind of kindled that like childlike spirit
How
in me
long
to
ago was
just
that?
create. A month. It was April 26th, I think. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So just
Yeah.
like a month ago now.
So that's why, because you prior to that, you hadn't been photographing too much.
Yeah, that was the first. That was the yeah, and I think because yeah, I honestly I haven't really shot much since like 2021 ish, 20 early
Mm,
maybe early 2022. I was in Colorado and I was working with a lot of cannabis brands. So like 2020 to 2022, I did a lot of cannabis content. So I would shoot like you know, cannabis events or just everybody's smoking or infused dinners where they're doing
mhm,
cool food or and I would do like content too for like products and stuff like that. That was like the last stint I kind of had with making photography a business. But again, I never enjoyed the business aspect of it. And also I think I just want to shoot what I want to shoot. And what I realized I think from that recent event is that I enjoy shooting. I think I just like documenting, you know what I mean? And I do love doing artistic portraits as well. Like a lot
yeah.
of I've done a lot of artistic nude stuff in abandoned buildings because I think that's like again, I don't quite okay, this is kind of a side topic, but I kind of struggle with that because on the one hand, it's sexy, right? It's the beauty of the beauty of the feminine that I enjoy capturing. But on the other hand, I don't ever feel like my shots come across as even close to pornographic. But I have this confliction with like, but it is because you're just shooting, women. So there's like there's something you're doing because it's only shooting women, and I'm kind of not sure where that tension is in me, to be honest. Um, anyway, I don't know how I got on that tangent, but
It's some of the oldest pieces of art. There's
right,
breast and naked women from centuries ago.
right,
It's one of the oldest arts, bro. It's probably in our DNA, and to enjoy humanity even without sexualizing them.
right.
I can acknowledge, and I'm married. I've been married 8 years. I can
Oh,
acknowledge, oh, that's a beautiful woman. Oh, that's a gorgeous man, and not sexualize him.
hmm,
I think most people it's easy. It's a little easier to sexualize, naturally because they wanna feel a little bit better about themselves and say, "You're nasty for doing that."
right.
And in reality, I'd imagine
My Brazilian girlfriend doesn't really like the idea that I'm thinking somebody else is beautiful, whether it's
you gotta be
sexual
careful
or
with the
not.
Brazilian, brother. She's gonna take you back, dude.
Yeah.
No, that's, I get it. That's and, um, yeah, that's I'm just really proud of you, dude, and I think if you really loved taking those photos and it came from a pure place of like, "Man, I forgot how much I love this." It's a wholesome
Right.
thing. Man, pick the camera back up, dude. Like, I've been in media creating within my production company for so many clients for so many years. Now, I didn't create for myself, and sure, I did here and there, but I really didn't create for myself because I
Mhm.
was so focused on working for their style of content
Right.
and building my business.
Right.
And now doing my videos for myself the way I want to do it has been such a pure experience and so wholesome to re-tap into that just for myself. And now I love it. So the goal is hopefully this year I'm out of debt. And then next year I can just do this full time. Because brother, please, what time is it? It's Tuesday.
12:15.
It's Tuesday at 12:15, and I'm hanging out with you in Dallas, and we're doing a little pod. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I was trying to get deliverables sent and working with a client and I'm on a Zoom meeting. I can't do it.
Facts.
So that's that
I think we're on the same trajectory then, because that's literally my goal this year is get rid of debt. I've got a current job. where I only have to work the weekends. And I've got this opportunity for the next base. I'm trying to save up and build to where by the end of this year I've got my own source of income,
Amazing.
everything going. Yeah, yeah, I'm right there with you.
Pick the camera up, dude. I think documenting stuff for myself has literally changed my life. I've only been doing it since last July, bro. That's when
Really?
I started. That's when I started posting probably 5 to 6 times a week.
Hmm.
It's just a lot.
Yeah.
And I see the other side too. Trust me, I'm not trying to be inspiring for people. Everyone should be a social media creator. Not everyone should. We need people out in the job force. I also have a love for bartending. I bartend every weekend. So I
Right.
balance my life. Like I want to own a restaurant and a bar one day. I've been working with this restaurant for the last 6 years
Yeah.
while owning a media company and now doing social media videos. So I think if you like my wife, for example, she will never record herself doing anything. She literally could care less. Super boring to her. She likes enjoying her 9 to 5,
Hmm.
clocking out, turning work off, and enjoying that's her balance. My
Yeah.
balance is a little more chaotic. I like bartending on the weekend. I like traveling to go film this. And then I like still doing my media company for the time being. I like a little bit of that chaos, but next year I want to aim to just focus on this because I'm really enjoying this season.
Right.
Yeah.
That's something I did want to ask you about too, because I know you mentioned I saw in your story, I think it was like last week or something. You were saying how you're a recovering workaholic,
Oh
and
yeah.
you took a nap one day. You're like, this is great. Taking naps is awesome. Just laying down, taking a rest for a minute. Because I'm very much like you. So like I also love bartending, and so I and
Really?
but I can't work for a restaurant. I just like serving and bartending in general,
Cool.
but I can't work for a restaurant anymore because if you do that, they're going to take over your life. It's just kind of the name of the service
Yes.
industry. So
Yes, it
I've found
is.
my way in with doing catering agencies, and so I work like catering gigs, mostly like fine dining stuff. I get to work in beautiful homes all around like
Amazing.
Highland Park and stuff like that. So that's kind of my outlet to kind of because I also just got to keep doing different stuff. But so I'm doing a little bit of these, some of that over here, doing my promotional BA gigs, which is what I'm doing on the weekends, and I'm also trying to build this podcast and just there's a million different hustles. So like,
Nice.
what is your how have you been recovering with your workaholism? Like,
Oh,
what is your method for balancing that out when you enjoy doing so many different things? But
yeah. I think it has come down for me to asking the question, what do I really want? What do I really want? And what I really want is to own my schedule. I said, great. Let's not complicate it, Hector, because I want to ruminate and I want to
hmm.
be really introspective and really complicated. I was like, don't complicate it this time. You've been complicating it for your life for the last 7 years. Just chill. What do you really want? I want to own my schedule.
Right.
I want to do what I want when I want to do it. Now, of course, I'm going to be subject sometimes to a contract or a deal or whatever. And I have to be humble and I have to work within the parameters of someone else's life as well, of course. But overall, I want to be able to build out my weekly schedule. So if I really want that, I need to set boundaries.
Right.
And I'm really invested into this restaurant. It's a restaurant called Firehouse Gastro Park and their bar catering company called Mama's Medicine. And I'm still super invested, but I have boundaries. I say,
Hmm.
hey, I used to come up here 5 times a week. I can only come once. I can come bartend Saturday nights.
Hmm.
And it hurts me.
But that's a good night though.
Fun night.
Yeah.
But it's the boundary because I don't want to burn the bridge and just quit. I love bartending and I
Hmm.
want to own a bar one day. This is role playing for me
Hmm.
and I get to learn. So set my boundary there. And with my media company, I had to be willing to take a really big loss financially. I had to let go of multiple clients and say no to oncoming clients. I have one right now. I've whittled my whole media company down to just one client because I love this dude
Hmm.
and he's amazing and I want to continue to support him and for the time being
Right.
until I'm ready to leave, which will
Right.
probably be next year if I feel peace about it. But it's been boundaries. So I'm like, okay, what do I really want? I want to own my schedule. Got it. I need to set way more boundaries on what I'm doing. And it hurts because if I'm in something, I want to be able to give it my all. But I've been able to reframe that and be like, I can give my all within my boundaries and
Hmm.
still take care of myself. And if they feel some type of way about it, that has nothing to do with me.
Right. This goes back to what we were talking about earlier. At the end of the day, you're only responsible for your own
Of
experience, really.
course. And people pleasing, you kind of become a little manic and you're having fake warped conversations in your head saying, well, if I don't do XYZ, they're not going to like me. Well, you don't know that. They haven't even told you they don't like you yet.
Right.
So just set the boundary.
Right.
And if there's a problem, you can address it.
Right.
So that has been so freeing for me. But yes, I'm still busy. I still have 3 jobs technically
Right.
right now. Social media, my media company, and bartending. But luckily with the media and the bartending, I've just put a lot of boundaries around it
Right.
now. And now it's up to me to honor them because the work is always available. It's always going to be there. Restaurant's always going to be there. Media's always going to be there. I have to be the one to set the boundary
Right.
because I want to make
This
more.
comes back down to you not betraying yourself again.
1000%. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. Yeah, definitely want to be respectful of your time. I know you busy, man.
This was fun, dude.
Yeah, bro, this was awesome. I'm glad we got to reconnect over a podcast, no less. But yeah, it's fucking sick. Is there anything you want to drop for the world? Anything you got coming up special for yourself?
I will say I've been very careful on what businesses to start. And I consider my social media a business because of the brand deals that I get to work on and the contracts I get with some companies that I get to do. So that's been my first business I've started last July. Now I'm starting a new business, YouTube. People will be like, well, that's not a business. I'm looking at it that way.
Yeah, I
So
think
that
it
way I
is.
can properly be organizational
Mhm.
and do it properly. So I've been uploading to YouTube weekly, but just random vlogs. I haven't
Mhm.
found a niche on what I want to lock in on. So I'm launching that probably tomorrow. And everything on social media is just 3 minutes.
Right.
It's already pretty long. I upload long format technically on socials just because I'm a storyteller.
Right.
I max out how much I can put on Instagram, which is 3 minutes.
Right.
So for YouTube, I figured out what I want to do for the time being. I really like this one creator. I like a few different creators how they do it. But there is this is so random. His name's Greg Doucette. He's a fitness creator.
Okay.
Again, I'm not even a fitness guy. I'm not buff at all, but I like his format because I see like, oh, he's really busy. He owns multiple businesses. He does coaching, the whole nine. But his format is he wakes up in the morning, he sits in front of the mic, and then he knocks out his YouTube video in the morning and he overlays some stuff. And I'm like, I have all of this footage that doesn't make it onto social media
Mhm.
because I have to whittle it down to 3 minutes. So I'm essentially doing a little bit of a streaming broadcast on YouTube where I'll be able to be long format,
Mhm.
but I get to have a director's cut of here's what you didn't see on the video, and I get to expand on my journalism.
Right. On
So
your
I'm
own
gonna do
commentary and personal
so I'm gonna be
ideas.
doing longer format, like 20 to 35-minute videos where if I want to do the Wailing Walls series, I can expand
Mm.
30 minutes. Here's all of the uncut footage, and here's my commentary. So it's going to be a little bit of a radio styled show
Gotcha.
with my vlog footage. So I'm starting that. I'm going to go film that right now, getting lots of footage and then filming it. And I'm probably going to post it tomorrow, which is, it might be out by now, whenever this is uploaded, May 27th. But that's going to be my next endeavor
Sweet.
that I'm going to do to invest. So that's it. Hector Alex Guerrero on YouTube.
Heck yeah, man. Thanks for coming on.
Dude, I love you, bro. Oh! That's the end of the podcast, folks. Hell yeah. Thank God. It only got a little bit on the carpet.